Yo, what's going on YouTube? It's your boy Light back in with another YouTube video. And in today's video, we're going to be doing a bit of a question video here on the channel. And it's gonna be what makes a good villain, basically. So when I say that question, basically I'm going to be talking about the various different aspects of a good villain. This could be it honestly can be taken in different ways, like for example, like a movie villain, a book villain, or whatnot. I'm gonna say it in more of like a kind of broad, like for every kind of villain, honestly, no matter what it is comics, books, TV, whatnot. So yeah, that's one thing. Anyways, let's get into it. So yeah, I'm just gonna be kind of talking about maybe some different aspects, what I think is a good villain, what makes a good villain, in my opinion. Of course, there maybe people have different opinions on it, but I mean, most of what I'm about to say is kind of straightforward and stuff like that. But I mean, I could miss something or whatnot. So if I do, leave it in the comments, or you think of a different reason, or maybe even disagree with what I say. Go ahead and leave it in the comment section down below. Uh, yeah. Anyways, so this idea kind of came from something I saw recently, and it was talking about the various different reasons of what makes a good villain. And I kind of got to thinking about it, and I definitely thought of some interesting reasons why. Uh, and like the first one, I gotta say, what makes another good villain is relatability, perhaps, or understanding in that sense. What I mean by that is basically one, you could relate to the person. Like I know there's definitely some people who could probably like relate to a villain, for example. For example, they're like if they're an orphan or whatnot. Obviously, they don't relate to them like say it's like some kind of like severe villain where they're like murdering people, for example. That's obviously not relatability. But I mean, well, maybe it is to somebody who's gone to jail or whatnot. But I mean, what I'm meaning by that is say you got orphaned or whatnot, or you felt the emotions of like basically you're like really mad and stuff like that, for example. And understanding what I mean by that is, for example, you understand like why this person's doing it. For example, like you understood uh, kind of like why this person's kind of doing this. You kind of like almost feel bad for them you kind of feel bad for them in an instance, for example. So it's more so kind of relatability, understanding that personally to me makes a pretty good villain. I mean, I personally some of my favorite villains you kind of I understand a lot and understand what they're trying to do and whatnot. Uh, Another one is literally uh just again you uh, sorry about that. Sorry. Another one is probably you just think are pretty cool. This is more so opinionated in a sense, but I mean they're written just way too good, and you just think they're pretty cool and stuff like that. An instance would probably be somebody like, uh, I would say like Darth Maul, for example. Even though he ties into some other categories and whatnot, he's just pretty cool, and I mean a lot of people might like him or for example, maybe even Kylo Ren, for example, from the Star Wars franchise and stuff like that. So that's not really too much into the topic, but I mean it definitely plays a part. At least that's what I think. Another thing too is definitely the one like the villains that basically you can notice that they're kind of like broken slash understanding and stuff like that, and just makes them more visually interesting and whatnot. Uh, Definitely another thing is again reasoning again. It kind of goes with understanding a bit, where you kind of reason you're reasoning understanding why, for example. So that's one thing. Uh, then there's this could definitely be a little controversial, but there's ones that you hate, like you straight up hate, but in a good way, in a sense. Like, of course, villains are supposed to get anything in entertainment wise. They're supposed to get kind of a reaction from you in sense of you really like them or you really hate them, for example, and that's still a reaction. That means they're doing their job well and done, and everything. So of course, there's gonna be characters that you just straight up hate, and for different reasons, obviously ranging from like say somebody uh, murdered a character you liked or something like that. That's a good reason as well to hate the character, of course. So I definitely think that's another role that kind of plays into it as well, which definitely could make to a interesting villain as well, especially in like of course your own personal opinion, but that's just my opinion on that topic. Uh, Definitely, again, you could definitely see some instances within uh, some good kind of villains here. You could kind of see in this photo a little bit. You could see kind of like I kind of picked these characters that I think kind of fit in the different categories. For example, Winter Soldier. He's an epic villain. He looks super cool. He's really cool. Uh, and again, he does tie into the other categories as well. Uh, Joker, again, he's another character who's just like you kind of reason a lit. I mean, you don't reason. You kind of hate him sometimes too, as well. You hate him a lot, and sometimes you could kind of feel sorry for him, especially if you see the Joker movie, you know. And then Doctor Octopus is more like he's cool slash you kind of like feel bad for him and understand like what he's going through and whatnot. So that's one thing I must say. Personally, I'm a huge fan of different villains. There's obviously a lot of different villains out there, a lot of different cool villains and stuff like that. Uh, Definitely very interesting stuff, I must say. I mean, definitely a thing like villains probably make heroes more interesting, in my opinion. I must say, if villains got snapped out of existence, I would argue that some heroes would just be pointless and just be terrible, or in the same saying, antagonists would basically make the protagonist even better. Honestly, so that's just the way I personally think, and yeah. Anyways, definitely comment down below if you agree with what I just said or you disagree or whatnot. But anyways, that's pretty much it though. Thanks for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.